Straight ahead on News 4 Brockport, Rochester veterans returned home from the Honor Flight on Sunday. See the heartwarming surprise that welcomed them home when they first stepped off the plane.
Also, an Olympic gold medalist headlined Brockport's homecoming this past weekend. Hear what she had to say to students.
And finally, the newly remodeled North Campus is open. Find out what the new construction means for you. News 4 Brockport starts right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Terrence Dickey.
And I'm Sydney Burbano. We begin tonight with a story of gratitude. Each year, veterans have the chance to attend the Rochester Honor Flight program. This program brings veterans of World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War to Washington, D.C. to see the memorials and share their stories. News 4 Jordan Soljajeski was there when the veterans returned home and has the story.
Thanks, Sydney. Honor Flight was an emotional event for many as veterans were welcomed home from their trip. This was the last of several honor flights this year. 47 veterans took part in this honor flight. People filled the hallways of the Greater Rochester International Airport cheering for the veterans as they got off the plane. Everyone was dressed from head to toe in red, white, and blue, holding signs, balloons, and cards to welcome home the veterans. The flight consisted of veterans from World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam War, and the Cold War. The veterans were treated like celebrities as they went through the crowd, and the looks on their faces were priceless as everyone greeted them home. Honor Flight is a nonprofit organization which flies veterans to Washington, D.C. for 2 days free of charge. Each veteran is able to bring a guardian to help with their bags, push their wheelchair, or simply to share their experience with. The veterans are able to visit the memorials of their wars, sightsee, and share stories with fellow veterans. Established in 2005, Honor Flight has 130 hubs stationed around the country and has flown over 180,000 veterans to D.C. for their honor trip. Honor Flight Rochester has commenced its 57th mission, totaling over 2,600 veterans flown out of Rochester to this day.
Remarkable the whole weekend. Yesterday, just one thrill after another, all day long.
When he arrived at the airport, WESTERDAHL was in awe.
Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, and my heart was full. And some tears.
Veteran Dave Charlton couldn't agree with WESTERDAHL more.
Honor Flight is one of the most amazing acts of love there is. Every place we went, we were welcomed, greeted warmly, treated beautifully. Best of all, I had my daughter along as my guardian. It was an amazing sight to see so many of these memorials and getting a chance to be a part of what they stand for.
The sightseeing is a perk to the trip, but it's the personal connections which mean the most to these veterans.
In Washington, where my granddaughter lives, she brought our great-granddaughter to see me. And it was the first time I saw her. So even with all the energy about everything else, that was the best part for me.
Brockport students write letters to the veterans to thank them for their service. To find out how you can get involved or to see if your loved one is eligible to take the flight, visit honorflight.org. Reporting from the studio, Jordan Soljajeski, News 4 Brockport.
Thanks, Jordan. Two-time Olympic gold medalist and FIFA World Cup champion Wambach visited Brockport this last Saturday. The Rochester native spoke to students with Democrat and Chronicle sports writer Jeff DeVeronica, who moderated the talk. Wambach discussed her life as a champion and the struggles that came along with it. The topics range from her wanting to quit soccer at age 14, equal pay for the women's national team, her DUI in 2016, and how she feels about earning a place in Time magazine's 100 Most Influential People.
Here you've been given this really interesting award, opportunity. Well, now what are you going to do with that? You know, that's kind of the test of one's character, is to figure out, you know, do you when nobody else is looking. And right now, that's kind of what I'm figuring out, which has been the fun part. Scary as heck, but the fun part.
After a year of construction, the North Campus is officially open. The completion of Brockport's North Campus revitalization was last Friday. President Heidi McPherson stood alongside a few members of BSG to cut the wire opening the North Campus officially. This celebration included cider, donuts, and music. Many people were brought together as they reflected on the progress that building a better Brockport has made so far.
Students competed for the titles of Homecoming King and Queen at the Brockport's Homecoming Pageant. Brockport alumnus Bob Tamby emceed the pageant, which took place in the Seymour College Union Ballroom. The Brockport Dance Club performed before the contestants took the stage. The winners were chosen by a panel of judges and by students. The contestants' performances included singing, dancing, and stand-up comedy.
Brockport students and alumni came out in full force to show their Eagle pride during the college's homecoming pep rally. Several of Brockport's dance club performed, including Sankofa, Hip Hop Dance Club, and the dance team. The crowd went wild for all the performances, clapping and cheering along to the music. Brockport's homecoming king and queen were announced during the event. This year's homecoming king and queen are Kevin Dudnoth and Sarah Norris. The evening ended with a mad rush for the free t-shirts. I actually went to the homecoming pageant and the contestants were very talented. How about you, Terrence? Did you go to any homecoming events?
I went to the football game and the Golden Eagles demolished. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it right there.
Speaking of the football game, here's Cordell Cummings with a look at sports.
Thanks, Sydney. The Brockport football team has been steamrolling their competition so far this season. This week, they put their 6-0 record on the line in front of over 6,000 fans and alumni when they face Hartwick for homecoming. Would the pressure of remaining undefeated be too much? We kick things off, literally, with Brett Renzi kicking a 23-yarder to give Brockport the early 3-0 lead. That would be his long field goal attempt of the game, and that's because of this. Hartwick quarterback Billy Payne looking to take a shot, and it's tipped right into the hands of defensive back Jake O'Connell for the pick. He's looking to score. He has a couple escorts right down the sideline. He makes it to the 10, 5, and he dives into the end zone for the touchdown. Brockport up 10-0. Brockport on the verge of scoring. Germinario has all the time in the world as he drops back. He rolls to the right and throws a dime to Joseph Ortiz in the back of the end zone. That'll be the sophomore's third straight game with the TD reception after none through the first 4. Brockport takes the commanding lead. Score is now 17-0. The score is now out of reach when Germinario finds Jerry Thompson on the quick slant. Thompson gives a little shimmy, freezes the defender, and he's off to the races for 6. Thompson would end up with 82 yards on the day, including this score. Brockport would cruise to the victory on homecoming, walking away with a shutout over Hartwick, 42-0. Coach Mangone, wideout Daquan Hubbard, and Jake O'Connell caught up with us after the game.
I think we have starters that are 2s and 3s. It's just unfortunately one guy can play the spot, right? So we have guys that are more than capable and willing to play, and we'll give them a look.
We have a high-power offense this year. From our line to our quarterback to our receivers. So we put up a lot of points this year. Honestly, we got to give the credit to the D-line. They got pressure on the quarterback. I think we had a total of 12 sacks. So maybe this guy's legit. DJ Money!
The Golden Eagles look to remain undefeated when they travel to Buff State this Saturday. They'll return for their home finale to face Alfred University Saturday, November 4th. The women's soccer team clinched the playoff berth after defeating SUNY Potsdam 4-2 on Saturday. Brockport got off to a fast start after Molly Zientik netted in a goal in the 5th minute. Zientik would eventually knock in another in the second half to put the game out of reach 3-0. Not mentioned in the recap was junior forward Riley Fody. Fody have had to deal with injuries that could have easily stopped her from playing soccer ever again. Ben Vahey takes a deeper look into what keeps Fody from giving up.
Riley Fody, a junior here at Brockport on the women's soccer team, is like no other ordinary player. She took a path less traveled by her fellow teammates.
My junior year of high school, I tore an ACL, and then my senior year of high school, I did another one. So it took me out for my junior and senior season of high school soccer.
Fody, now a midfielder playing for the Brockport Golden Eagles, has overcome those torn ACLs. She really wanted to get back into playing soccer. For that reason, she thinks coming to Brockport was the best choice.
I love the team, I love the atmosphere. This season, we brought in a lot of new players, and it was kind of fun to see how it would all come together with a bunch of new players and kind of build on the season and see how we can swing ends.
Riley Fody had quite the journey here before coming to Brockport, going through a long recovery in 2 other schools before she took the field here as a Golden Eagle.
I went to SUNY Albany for a semester, and then I wanted to get back into soccer and play again, so I went to a community college in Syracuse, Onondaga Community College. I played for a fall there, which was the fall of my sophomore year, and then I transferred here to continue my soccer career.
A long road to Brockport for Fody. From recovering from 2 ACL injuries and going to 2 other schools, Fody is just glad to be back to playing soccer. In Brockport, Ben Vahey, Talent TV Sports.
Fody definitely deserves props from coming back from not 1, but 2 devastating injuries. Fody and her teammates will keep their season alive this Saturday when they face SUNY Cortland in the SUNYAC Tournament quarterfinals. Other matchups to look forward to this week include a doubleheader for the women's volleyball team on Senior Day this Friday. Their first match is set for 5 o'clock versus Hiram, and their second will be versus Keuka. And if you're interested in track, the men's and women's cross-country team will be competing in the SUNYAC Championship on Saturday. The women's meet will start at 11 a.m. and the men's race will begin at noon. From the sports department, I'm Cordell Cummings, News 4 Sports.
Thanks, Cordell. The Brockport Merchants Association is sponsoring a Halloween Happenings event on Friday, October 27th. Shops on Main Street will be open later than usual and will be featuring special sales. There will be a costume parade at 6:30 with free balloons and treats along the route. After the parade, the fire hall will hold a haunted house and provide free cider. The event starts at 6:30 and goes until 9:30.
Brockport students came together this week for a candlelight solidarity walk to honor victims of police brutality. The student organizations Men of Color and OSAD sponsored the event. The walk started at Harrison Dining Hall and ended at Hartwell Hall. Students dressed in white as a symbol for purity and new beginnings.
Many children in the Brockport community don't have warm clothes to wear this winter. You can help by donating winter coats during an annual coat drive. Matt's Coats for Kids will be holding its drive on Saturday, October 28th. The drive is held every October and November to collect new and gently used coats for children in need. There are 25 drop-off sites in Monroe County, including Brockport. The coats will be distributed to kids after Thanksgiving. The kids get the opportunity to pick out their own coats. The organization was started in memory of Matthew J. Fitton. Fitton died in a car accident in 2003. He was only 20. If you'd like to donate, you can bring coats, hats, mittens, and gloves to the Brockport Fire Department Station Number 3.
Brockport is getting into the fall spirit with Brocktober Fest. The annual festival is a campus-wide celebration of the season. The festivities began Thursday with pumpkin painting in the Union, followed by a weekend trick-or-treating and the Munster Bash Party. Fall celebrations continue into Saturday with the Haunted U. The festivals run until Halloween.
Students and faculty alike wore purple and black for the annual Take Back the Night rally and march. The rally took place last night in the newly reopened mall on the campus behind the Seymour Union building. The crowd listened to several speakers before taking to the streets of Brockport to stop the violence and shatter the silence.
Take Back the Night is a rally to really empower women, empower the victims of sexual assault, to show that they have allies, that it will stop. The rape is going to stop, sexual assault is going to stop, and that people are here trying to advocate for the people that can't speak up for themselves.
It's a chance to bring attention to domestic issues and sexual assault, domestic violence that happens not just in society but also on college campuses. And so what it was a collaboration of students, my organization, SSWO, with other organizations on campus, to bring in guest speakers who were able to speak about real life things that happened, that they went through, and also to be able to tell the stories to people that aren't here to tell it for themselves. Walking, the voices echo through the campus, which is a great thing. So even those that weren't able to come were able to hear about what was going on. Walking through the streets, going through the community, it's great to bring attention to different clubs, especially seeing like the rugby team or like other men within the crowd, which shows that like we stand together against these issues and we're not gonna let it happen anymore. So I thought it was a really great turnout, in all honesty.
I think that this was a great effort by the campus to help spread domestic violence awareness. And given that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, I mean, what a better time?
I definitely agree, and that is all the time we have for News 4 Brockport. My name is Sydney Bourbano.
And I'm Terrence Dickey. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.